This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
First of all, let me commend you on something because, and maybe I'm wrong here in a way, but you tell me. So he comes off the hip injury, and then that first year, you're kind of really recovering and trying to get yourself back on track.
Yeah.
But in that second off season, which was last off season, you did a phenomenal job of working that core and then that flexibility for him, and all those drills that you had him picking up the ball off the floor and throwing it from one side to the other and all that stuff. Was that the plan? Because coming off the hip, you now have to kind of strengthen that core overall, because obviously that's the lifeblood of a quarterback as it is.
Of course. So I'll give you the rundown of that. So when Tua's agent first approached me to train him in the offseason, he was coming off of his rookie year, right? And during his rookie year, he was a shell of himself. He was not physically up to, the standard that we all had seen him play at Alabama. So you kind of rewind the clock and figure out why, right? So he had his injury, and then from his injury, he went and had surgery. And then from surgery, he had to rehab and prepare for a pro day, right? So then he prepared for his pro day. The draft comes, you get drafted. Then you immediately go to your said team that drafted you. You go through rookie minicamp, you go through minicamp, you go through camp, you go through preseason, you go through the season. And there's just not time to build your body up. It's go time. Look, you've got to play football, and I think personally, maybe he shouldn't have played at all his rookie year. I think he was just kind of thrown into the fire, right? So,
that's what I said the whole year. Let him freaking get healthy.
Exactly.
He does not need to play. But then again, the guy that was a head coach didn't really give a shit about him.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about him.
You don't have to say it. I'll say it. Don't worry.
Exactly. So after year one, I had never met Tua his rookie year. At the end of his rookie year is when I had met him and we started training, right? So, for me, what I like to do when I start with a new client is kind of, put together a needs assessment, figuring out what they need to accomplish this offseason, right? It's not just training. People need to understand that, when I get my hands on a guy or a guy comes to me for the first time, we sit down and we figure out where his weaknesses are. We do baseline testing to kind of see where he is, so I can put together a program that's going to attack the weaknesses so that we're getting desired results. So for him, he was just very weak in his lower half. He had a lot of imbalances from the right and the left side, zero stability in lower extremities. Just really didn't have much really to build off of. So we had to build. So the entire first offseason with him was rebuilding the car, right? Kind of building the body back up. We had to do a lot of strength training, a lot of resistance training. There wasn't really stuff that we could do throwing the ball wise, because if you skip those steps, right, and we don't really worry about bulletproofing the body, then you're going to find some other issues down the road, right?
And the throws won't be nearly as good.
Exactly. So, it was all about, foundational building and getting him stronger and getting him back to, the athlete that he could be. I believe that that was when he had that year, he had the fractured ribs and he had the broken finger, and he was going through a lot of stuff, with trade rumors and all that kind of whatever. I mean, he dealt with it. And
he still beat the Ravens.
He dealt with it like a champ, man. And the Ravens game, he didn't have one first team rep that all week. As you can remember, he didn't have the eye black on his face because he was told he was not playing, and he just got thrown in the fire. And guess what? He came out alive, and he led us to a win. So after year one, really with me, it was the second year in the NFL. The Dolphins staff did a great job at keeping his body pretty strong. Shout out to Dave Palooka and the guys, man. They really did a great job of helping him maintain his strength throughout that season. So when our second off season started, we were ready to go. We still had to kind of, knock the rust off and get back in the weight room and build another foundation, but it wasn't nearly as drastic or it wasn't the plan that we had to attack the year before. So we got into a throwing program, and a lot of people come at me because I'm not a quarterback coach, and I get that. I'm not a quarterback coach, but there's a lot of resources out there to learn proper throwing mechanics and how to increase, velocity and how to work on off-platform throwing and all that good stuff. And Tua wanted me to do it. It was Tua's choice. It wasn't like I forced him. Tua wanted me to do it. And so we put together a program, and I was very, very happy with the program. Tua increased in all categories, throwing the ball, whether it was throwing the deep ball, whether it was throwing intermediate throws and being accurate over the middle, which was something that, we had to work on. It just sucks that I never in a million years thought that we would have to strengthen his neck and have to do neck strengthening exercises and falling mechanics, and the only thing that kind of, knocked Tua off the tracks last year was that, because he was leading every, legitimate statistical quarterback category. And it was just something that, I feel like nobody thought would happen. But he was playing at the highest level of any quarterback in the NFL last year for a long period of time, until that happened. So this offseason obviously was a little bit different. We still are it's almost like a little collective of years 1, 2, and 3, off seasons 1, 2, and 3. And I'm excited to get it going, man. I know we started a couple weeks ago now, and I'm gone for this week, and he's back home doing his thing right now. So, after Indy, after I get back, we really start to crush phase 1, and I'm excited about it, man.
This is the Big O Show.